This is a story about water, about bugs in the water, about people who are sick because of the bugs in the water, about a missionary sister who saw this, and about 2 buckets. First of all, it's easy to forget that water is essential to life on our planet. 3/4 of our Earth is covered with water, and you'd think that's good. But 98% is salty seawater. Ever tasted seawater? That means only 2% of the water on Earth is fresh water, and get this, half of that is frozen in the polar ice caps. That leaves only 1% of the water usable for everyone on Earth. Everyone. And now here's the real problem. Not all of that fresh water is fresh anymore. Ever hear of pollution? Pollution of our water is a very serious problem. In fact, 1.2 billion people have no access to water at all. 2.5 billion people lack basic sanitation, and polluted water causes the death of 6,000 children every day. So what can one person do with a problem of global magnitude? Sister Bernadette Mackay faced that very question while on a medical mission to the people of the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is located in the Caribbean islands. It's half of the island of Hispaniola. The capital of the Dominican Republic is Santo Domingo, a bustling, busy city. It's an island once explored by Christopher Columbus. There are many poor in the Dominican Republic, especially in the rural areas. This is where Sister Bernadette comes in.
11 years ago we started our first medical missions, and we tend to work with the folks in the hills, working with the poorest folks of the Dominican Republic. The living conditions of the people we work with, for the most part, haven't changed very much. Most of them live in very poor housing, don't have too much access. Water, most people carry on their heads for many, many miles.
For people in the hills, water is life. People drink, bathe, and wash their clothes in their river, along with their animals. This means only one thing for the people: polluted water.
When people don't have clean water, they're constantly sick. They're constantly weaker. The children have very, very large pot bellies, very lethargic.
Lethargic means having no energy, and their pot bellies are from bugs. Well, they're really parasites. You see, these parasites live in unclean water. When a person drinks the water, the parasites then set up home inside the person. The parasite eats all the nutrients from the food before the person's body uses them. As a result, the person becomes malnourished, lethargic, and vulnerable to other illnesses.
When we started nutritional project, we found out that basically 70-80% of children are malnourished, and not only acute malnutrition but also this chronic type of malnutrition that you basically cannot do anything about.
Studies show that 80% of all deaths in developing countries are caused by water-related diseases. The doctors knew this. Sister Bernie knew this. But it isn't feasible to build a water treatment plant everywhere you went. What can one person do? Well, you might not be able to solve the world's problem, but you could work on the problem in the Dominican Republic, and that's what Sister Bernie did.
And so we set one of our engineers off to figure out how we could solve the water problem for most of these folks.
And this is what they came up with: 2 buckets. The buckets work this way. Bleach is added to a bucket of water. This kills the parasites. The water is filtered through a sediment filter that filters out dirt. The water then passes through a carbon filter that removes the bleach or chlorine, and presto, clean water. Healthy water.
The water is very clean. It's just as clean as the water you get from those bottles that we buy. It's the same system but reduced to a very simplified version.
It's so simple and inexpensive to produce that every family can have one of their own. And what a difference it made.
When they have clean water, it's a total difference, and you see the difference immediately after they've been deparasited and start drinking clean water. It's noticeable very fast.
Waterborne illnesses have decreased by as much as 85%. Over 20,000 systems have been placed in homes in the Dominican Republic, reducing illnesses and creating a sustainable life for those who are in need. And all because of one person's missionary response.
You know, it almost seems like it doesn't really take that much of money. You know, it really takes some action of the people, several people willing to dream, willing to say yes. And you can see such a profound transformation. You start dreaming even bigger and bigger, and you say, well, if more people would be willing to say yes, you know, this can be really blown up so big.
This is a story about water. Bugs in the water. About 2 buckets that are changing lives. In more ways than you think, because water is also associated with spiritual life.
Because baptism is about water. Its basis is in water, to be reborn. And our challenge is to create new possibilities that they will be able to share their goodness, their challenge, their life, their energy with us, so that we too can, in partnership with them, can create a global village where all find truly the kingdom of God.